Hello and welcome to the After Show Afterthoughts. Here they all are. Look at them. There's Ivy Austin, there's Sherry Eaker, there's Gail Cricket, there's Patricia Snyder, and me. I'm in the middle in my screen. Anyway, and my gosh, didn't we have just a fabulous time? But we've all decided that that was part one. We have part two. We're all going to come back and talk about many more things that we have to talk about because we all really are talking about all the issues of the day, how diversity and inclusion and all that affects all of us in so many different ways. And we didn't get a chance to do that. But now that you know all these ladies and you I'm just learning something about them myself. Then when they come back, we don't have to visit that. Then we can go on about what the current things are. So here they all are, and welcome, ladies. Welcome, 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 welcome.
And thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
I mean, it was incredible. It had a life of its own. As I said, I thought of many different paths that we could do, and Patricia will know. Patricia's an old veteran of working with me on this medium now. I've dragged Patricia. I go, Patricia, can you come and do this? And she knows I change on a dime. I just, if it's going in that direction, I don't care what I've planned. I just drop it. And it was really lovely. Thank you all so much. I do have a question for you. Is there any question that you always wanted to be asked? Someone. If someone was asking a question, was interviewing you, is there a question that you wanted to be asked?
I have an answer for that.
Yes, Gail.
My
Yes,
own
Gail.
answer is I think I sent you that interview I had in Croatia when
Yes.
Seven was there. And the best question was, and anytime I have an interview or I have to talk about something to somebody important, I, the responsibility of the artists, it always interests me. What are our responsibilities as artists, to the what's going on, the social milieu, the activism, to me, everything that an artist puts out has goes someplace, has meaning, has intention to do something or say something. So I think an artist's responsibility to me is important and interesting to explore.
I think you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Yeah.
think, I think, I think people are naive if they come into this business and they don't believe that there is a responsibility that accompanies all the choices that you make. That there, because we influence the public so much, we influence imagery and articulation and everything else, that it's important to think really about what you want to say and what you want to do before you do it and how it really is going to affect the constituency that follows you. And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that over the years. And, people say, you're a role model. I said, I guess I am. you
Yeah,
know, that it comes with the
absolutely.
job. It comes
Oh
with the
yeah.
job. It really does. That's a great, great, great subject and question. I'm going to write that down, Gail. Mm-mm. What about you, Sherry? What do you think? What question? What question would you?
I have answers, but I don't. Yeah, I have an answer also, so I can make a. Let me make a question of it.
Okay.
With the different paths I've taken in my career,
Hmm.
what has been? I'm always looking for threads. What has been the thread from being a teacher to being the editor of a weekly trade paper to producing an award show? And one thing that came out of the pandemic is I now send out a weekly newsletter. I never did that before with all our new posts in it.
It's excellent. It's excellent. If anyone doesn't, you should get it. I don't know how to tell you to reach Sherry to get it.
You
It's
have to just give
fabulous.
me your email address. But the
Fabulous.
point is, I think I have always wanted to, and a word you use Patricia lives, inhabits this word, educate.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a teacher in a junior high school, I taught. I tried to teach anyway, whatever subject I was teaching. I got to backstage, and with backstage I saw, the mission of backstage is to make people understand that the business is a business. It's not all entertainment. They have to look at the business side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So all the editorial and backstage was geared to the business end of it. How do you find an agent? How do you find a rehearsal room? How to choose the right photographer. It was always like a textbook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Bistro Awards, giving out awards every year. Mm-hmm. The features we run and the reviews that we run are an education to what cabaret is and how it differs from theater performance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so through our reviews, you'll see what works right, what doesn't work, what can be done better. So it's always this idea of reaching all of you in some way. I get turned on by that.
Oh no, it's fabulous. I mean, I enjoy it weekly. I enjoy reading articles by people I know, and then some that I don't know, and wanting to say, oh gosh, I wish there was a video or I could see. And then there are some videos of partial performances that you see some of the performances and how wonderful it is explaining cabaret to our society, because sometimes people don't quite understand what it is.
Well, it's a very little niche of a.
Yes, it is. It's a specialty.
But really it's a truly expressive mode of who you are, not who the character you're playing on stage is. It's who you are. It's very scary.
It is, because you're naked. You're naked.
Yeah.
If you do it right.
Wait, people who don't go to cabaret regularly, who are listening to this, no, they're not naked.
It's not nudity, but the spirit is. The spirit is naked. You all, no. I'm not going to be naked on the stage.
Bare your soul.
You bare your soul. You bare your soul. That's wonderful. What about you, Ivy? What would you like to be asked?
Well, I'm glad I had a couple of minutes to think about this, because it's kind of a deep thing, and I would appreciate being asked how my concept of success has changed over the course of my career, where I think that when I started out, it was really big and brassy, and about singing my biggest, loudest, most fabulous 16 bars or whatever they let me do. And performance for me has become so much more personal over the years, and that it's not, yes, it can be about, you can be successful reaching a massive audience, but it's really about connecting with an individual, with making an honest connection with an individual. And also, yes, and I define success also as being able to take it out of myself and give it all to someone else. That it's really not about me. It's about who I may have the privilege of making an impact on.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is.
Said.
It's lovely. That's
Thank you.
fabulous. I'm so glad we're recording this because I'm stealing all of this stuff that you all are saying. I'm stealing it all. Patricia, what about you? What question would you like someone to ask you about?
Well, I have the same question that I've had for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say since the late 60s, when I performed as an equity actress at Syracuse Stage, and I would see the audience half full or three-quarters full. And I'd say, why aren't we working on theater development? And so my theater development has always been introducing the children to the theater. And I don't mean with shows like not Raggedy Ann, Little Red Riding Hood, or that kind of thing, because our children are much more intelligent than we give them credit for. They have great imaginations, and if it's good, they'll lap it up. And I just wonder why there hasn't been more of an effort. I know the last 2 years we've been through a pandemic, so we have to take those years out. But why isn't there more of an effort of professional theater, of getting the children into the theater? And when I say children, I really mean elementary through high school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just my constant question. I love the theater and I love young people. And they're our future citizens. And through the theater, we learn so much about other people and develop empathy in those young people for the things they are experiencing from the actors on the stage. And in today's social, political problems, we need it more than ever. We artists need to reach out to the young people more than ever now, because we're in trouble. We're in trouble in this country and in the world. We're off the mark. We've got to get back on the mark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, that's a
what
wonderful
I think.
thought. Well, you know, it
Great,
all.
bravo.
Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
Bravo. It all begins so simply if we develop the minds of our children early on, you know,
Absolutely.
then there's a progression that happens. They're open, you know, very early on to a lot of things. To prevent theater becoming an elitist kind of situation where only certain people enjoy it, we really have to work hard about inclusion of everyone and making this something that everyone enjoys as an art form. I think that that's a very, very important thing, and I think that's one of the aims that we all as women should take up, and you know, have our placards one, you know, to make sure that we are including everyone in the arts. And I say this, I have one more little question in it because I've worn you all out for the night, I know, and I'm not going to keep you long. But what do you think about the future of theater in our environment now? It's such, the parameters of it is, it's so um, questionable. Do we adapt a program of streaming a lot of our shows so that people who are afraid to come to the theater still have the arts? Do we say we're not going to do that, and is that excluding people? These are all very things that are on my mind. When I ask the question, let me say what's on my mind is I want theater not to be exclusive. I want it to be inclusive. And I think what has happened to me during these 2 years has shown me that there are a lot of people who I thought we were reaching in the theater. We weren't reaching because we weren't thinking that there were people who just could not get to us because of some limitations. And what are we
Mhm.
doing about that to include them economically, physically, medically? What are we doing to make this an all-inclusive art form, the arts?
There are strides that are being taken by theater companies now, a lot of off-Broadway theater companies where they have options,
Mm-hmm.
come see us live,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have one specific day where
Mm-hmm.
you can buy a ticket for lesser price
Mm-hmm.
and stream it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
having something streamed. We couldn't do our award show last year, so we did a virtual presentation, which I wasn't in favor of, but the way we presented it, we didn't have any winners. We just had one award. Petula Clark was our,
Yes,
remember
I remember.
Petula?
I
Oh,
enjoyed
wow.
it. I totally enjoyed it because I couldn't get there. So I was so glad that you all did it. It was
But
fabulous.
we showed our history, but
Mhm.
having Petula Clark and then her getting the word out, or her team getting the word out,
Yes.
we had, I couldn't believe the people who were tuning in, where they were tuning in from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
it
That's great.
that, yes, so we have to take it, not have one or the other, but a combination of the two.
I think, I don't think, I don't think we will ever replicate theater. Live theater will never be replicated. There's nothing like it.
Oh,
There's nothing
no.
like it for the audience. There's nothing like it for the performers. But it may not be available to everyone in the same way, but in some abbreviated form, so that the work of Gail Kriegel can be seen by everyone, you know. So the work that the things that Sherry does, and somehow some of those cabaret performances get streamed because the cabaret rooms are so small, so you get 70, 100, it stops being cabaret when it gets over 100 people. It just does. It just, now
Well,
you
with
got,
the right artist, it's still cabaret.
yeah,
I'll put
yeah, yeah,
that
that's
those
true.
2 cents in the right artist.
Yes, but
Mhm.
but it's just one of those things where you get a chance to enjoy that art form where people would not normally be in it, and inform people about it. As we talk about cabaret right now, there are people who are listening now who, I guarantee you, have never been to a cabaret performance. And so they
Right.
don't know what's the difference? What's the difference between that? Well, you have to go and find out. There you go. You
Yeah.
can find out. Go. You know. So that's my concern as I've involved myself in this question. It's always to make it inclusive, because there's been so many things in our society that have been exclusive over the years, that we really need to join together, and my hope is that all these organizations that we all belong to, that empower women, that we continue to empower each other. And
Amen. Yes.
There have
it's
been great strides on Broadway also this year, with the number of BIPOC, people, Black people,
Yes.
transgender
Yes.
people,
Yes. Being
uh,
inclusive. Yes.
Asian, in ways that you would not think of before. More Black playwrights being produced than ever.
And then outside of the box, and so it's interesting, but that outside of the box needs to become the box.
Yes.
That's what it needs. It needs to become the box,
Yes.
so that it's all inclusive, so that we don't spend time trying to figure out all those groups that have been included. They're there already.
Or to put the token person in, or the token play in the season.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we must have this because it's the right thing to do. No, it's the only thing to do.
I'm going to bring up something it'll have to be a whole different topic of discussion, but we did a feature back in 2020 on why are there no Black people or people of color, I should say, no Black people of color in cabaret, or not that many. And the answers were we spoke to all Black artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something that it's really from a European culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I, you know,
That's interesting.
I don't think as a performer, I don't think I ever thought of it as that. I thought
There
of it
are,
as a format of telling stories. And if you come from a certain culture,
but many don't know. One wonderful Black artist came about it because he just met someone who he didn't know about
yes,
cabaret and small clubs
then,
and singing
yeah,
that way.
yeah, yeah. It is about
Mm.
educating yourself about the opportunities that we have in the arts also. You know, I mean, there are a lot of things. Sometimes you have to go and try not just the familiar, but the unfamiliar. I mean, I got exposed to it listening to people talk about and going to see other people going. And I'd say, oh, well, I have a story that I'd like to tell. I like to sing these kinds of songs and tying that
When
together.
was that experience? Not the show that I saw. What show was that? When
Uh,
did that begin?
well, you know, I've been
Now I'm interviewing the moderator,
I know, I
huh?
know. My years in living in Pennsylvania have caused me to open certain rooms and decide that there are certain stories that I'd like to tell, inclusive of my culture. You know, Patricia would say to you that pieces of Ladies of Song, Ethel Waters, those songs that those kinds of women, those women who who were privileged enough to sing a song like Supper Time, which is when I do it is always I can't end a performance without somebody saying you're going to sing Supper Time, right? You know, or singing Cole Porter's
But you would understand that song better than other people.
I think you know I think pain though, Sherry, is pain. And this particular reason why Irving Berlin in 1933 wrote that for Ethel was to put it in the same play that he did Heat Wave, which was a real da 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 da, but to give her that moment because they were in this passage of time where that was one of the peak times where lynchings were at their height. And I think what people don't realize is that it's not just the act, the horrific act of that, but the effect and impact that it has on everybody else as that knock comes on the door, and what happens to your life. Um, I'm trying to think of the Cole Porter song that I'm thinking about. All the songs that I have, they have people dying by hanging. Oh God.
I'm trying to think too. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yes, you
We'll
do.
think of it after the show.
Of course we
Right,
will.
right.
Yeah, I'll you know, and
Is it
but I
strange
sing it.
fruit?
I sing that.
Strange
And
fruit.
no, not Strange Fruit. No, but
No.
that's one. This one he wrote in as a Cole Porter wrote as a challenge because Miss Otis Regrets. That's what it was. It was a challenge because he was in this height on Broadway, and people say they were
Of
taunting him.
course.
Yes,
Yes.
say
Of
you can't write
course.
about just anything. And he heard at the next table someone saying that they regretted, someone was giving a message that they regretted that they couldn't have to lunch, and then he wrote a story and of course it ends in her not being with us anymore. But it's those kind of things that I do, Sherry, that you haven't seen me do, and talking about where the songs come from and how they affect me and have the impact on me in my storyline, and how they can also do it with other people. Because pain in Supper Time, talking about a man who's been lynched, but you talk about any man who's been murdered on the street, who's been shot by a drive-by, and that knock on the door. Pain is pain is pain is pain. And so yes, in 1933 it was important that Ethel sang it, but today it could be sung by an Italian woman. It could be sung by an Asian woman whose husband has been beaten because he was driving an Uber car, or all of those things. it's really transferring it culturally to everyone and understanding
Uh-huh.
that. And that's what
Yeah.
my journey has been. And that's been it's an important thing. Ivy talks about what success was at the very beginning and now what it is. It's the evolution of what it all means to me. No one could sing a money note bigger than I could sing a money note. Baby, I would sing a money note for you. I'm not interested in it. Oh yeah, I give it to you at the end. At what? Because people wait for it. I give it to you one time during the show, but I'm not interested in inundating you with every. The success is getting you to understand why the song was written and what it can mean for you at that point in time, and what it meant. To pull it out of a show. Most people don't know that most of the songs that we love come from shows. They weren't written to
Oh,
be
yeah.
hits. They come from shows, and after people realize that, they go, I'll never think of that song the same way again. That's all you want to hear.
That's our job. That's it
That's it.
in a nutshell, right?
That's it. That's it. Ladies, I'm going to let you go. I hate to let you go. I know. I want to talk another hour, but
Do we have any questions from our audience?
no, the audience, that's when the audience would call in. Now this one is just us,
It's just
and
us.
then I post it up. So
I
we
just
won't-
have to say one more thing, which
Yes,
is
Cherry.
not really where we were, just changing the spotlight a little.
Mhm.
I watched the Grammys the other week,
Mhm.
and Lady Gaga did anyone see it? I hope Lady Gaga is not watching this.
No.
She did this very Broadway version of Love for Sale.
Hmm.
It got me very upset.
Mm. Mm.
I don't know.
Well,
Why?
first of all, it's a difficult song, not vocally, because she's got a nice range, lovely range.
But she took
But
away the meaning
meaning.
of the song.
Have you ever heard Tony Bennett sing his interpretation of it?
No, not Tony Bennett. I usually hear women singing that.
No, Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett.
Oh, no wonder Lady Gaga sang it because
Yeah.
she's
She probably. I'm not going there, Sherry. I'm not going there. We recorded. We're not
no, you're right.
But did you see Lady Gaga in the House of Gucci?
No,
Yes.
I didn't.
No.
She was
Yeah,
wonderful.
Well, you need to see it because I didn't know anything about the movie except it was the Gucci people, and I know what that is. But a friend of mine said, "Let's go to the movie." And at the end of the movie, she said to me, "Wasn't Lady Gaga great?" And I looked at her like she was crazy because I didn't recognize. I didn't.
No, she
I
was
didn't
totally different
know it
in the
was
movie.
She's
Lady
an
Gaga.
extraordinary
Actress.
talent. She is an
She is.
extraordinary talent.
And and then sometimes everything is not for everybody. That's all.
Oh, that I know.
Yeah, I know you know. Oh, I know you know. Huh. But,
And I shouldn't have even voiced what I said. Sorry, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, well,
No, that's okay.
We
We're-
all try. We try a lot of different things though, but that's what the business is about too. It is about
Yes.
us trying things, and then some things we find out we're really good at, and some things we find out we don't need to try them anymore.
Right. Going back to Ivy's success story,
Yes.
when I would talk to aspiring actors, I would always say, well, your goal doesn't have to be to end up on Broadway. There are stages all across the country, and get on it and show it that the audience is what you can do, and be a success that way. So it comes in all sizes and all shapes.
All shapes. Lloyd used to say in class, if you do not think that New York is the only place that you can work, you will work for the rest of your career.
Right.
When you discover that there is a world of entertainment. I've had young people come up to me and go, I want to be a Broadway performer like you. I said,
Sure, right.
don't you just want to be a performer? You know, and then because that's a street, that's a geographic location, you know. So once you're off that street, aren't you still a performer? Don't you take the criteria that you brought to that street? Don't you take that everywhere? Don't you take it
Beth,
everywhere?
you are a complete success. Not Beth. Ivy, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Ivy, Beth. I don't even know where I got that from. I'm sorry. Ivy, yes, you have the fact that you even discovered what you discovered. You're a success
and it
because
is
of that.
it's what's wonderful about it is that you really have to be here a while to discover it. You
Indeed.
won't you it doesn't come
Oh, yeah,
without
yeah,
maturity.
yeah.
You
have to
gotta
learn
go
that.
on that arc and live it and experience it. And the blessing that we're all still here and we all can have all so many things that we will experience in the future. That's the blessing. That's the success. Right
It's
there.
the wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all very blessed. I'm very blessed to know all of you. And I'm
We're
not
blessed to
letting
know
you go, but I'm going to say goodbye to this recording. You all stay for a second, but this recording, we're going to say goodbye. I hope you all have enjoyed. Look at what we talked about here. It's another radio show. It's amazing. What we did. The after show afterthoughts. I know you're going to love them. I'm going to have them back. They're all very, very busy, so I'm gonna have to schedule them now for when they can come back again. So you know how that is, coordinating with these divas, and these are divas. So thank you very much for watching our after show afterthoughts, and I'll see you on the radio. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Enjoy your holiday, everyone, and thank you, ladies. Thank you so very much.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brava.
You.
Thank you.